Good day, grade 12 learners. Welcome to today's business studies lesson. My name is Siriso Tlhaka, and this lesson is brought to you by the Gauteng Department of Education in collaboration with Saibono Discovery Center. Today we look into the main topic we call the business environment, and the subtopic we look into is your business strategy. And mind you, this is the last subtopic, or actually this is the second last subtopic towards completing business environment, because the first one was the impact of recent legislation, and this is the second one, and this is real business because we are talking about business strategy. This is our subtopic, business strategy, and we will be looking into a subtopic that will be covered or assessed under paper 1, and it is covered in term 1. And I'm your presenter, Siriso Tlhaka. Lesson objectives. By the end of this lesson, you should be able to, number 1, outline or discuss the strategic management process, to say what do we mean by the term strategic management process. You should further be able to discuss the following industry analysis tools. This is your SWOT analysis, Porter's 5 forces, and PESTEL analysis. You should further be able to explain how PESTEL factors pose challenges to the business. Thereafter, describe or discuss the different types of business strategies. And we have 4 strategies. You should further be able to advise businesses on steps in strategy evaluation. Then that would then be our lesson over there. Then terminology that is key for this lesson is the term formulation of strategies. What do we mean by that? To formulate means to devise or to develop a strategy, or in simple terms, it can mean to come up with a strategy. So that is what we mean by the term formulation of strategies. And then implementation of strategies. This takes place after now the formulation of strategy, meaning the business has to come up with a strategy. Thereafter, the implementation of strategy will take place. So this will take place after coming up or formulating a strategy, and it involves all activities that are required for putting the strategy into action. So implementing has to do with making the strategy to happen, implementing. Then evaluation of the strategy. This takes place after the implementation. So after the implementation, after the strategy has been done, the strategy has to be evaluated. What do we mean by that? It determines whether the implemented strategy resolved the challenge or not. And then we also have industry analysis tools. This refers to SWOT analysis, Porter's 5 forces, and PESTEL analysis models, which are used to analyze the challenges posed by the business environment. Keep in mind that the business has 3 environments. This is micro, market, and macro, and it was introduced in grade 10. But now we're talking about scanning this environment so that you pick up the challenges and come up with a strategy. Hence, we talk about formulating a strategy. You cannot formulate a strategy without understanding the challenge and without identifying where the challenge comes from in terms of the 3 business environments. Hence, it becomes key to scan using these tools which scan different environments, thereafter formulate, thereafter implement, thereafter you then do evaluation of the strategy to check if the strategy that was implemented was successful or not. Now, we also have the following terms: suppliers. What do we mean by that? Suppliers include factories or providers or of a goods or service that the business would obtain or buy from in order to operate their business. So those are your suppliers. And then a buyer refers to the final user of the product or service. And then a substitute product or service refers now to different products or services that satisfy the same need of customers but can be used to replace one another. This can be, for instance, coffee replacing tea or tea replacing coffee. Then we also have new entrants. What do we mean by that? Because we will be talking about this. When we talk about a new entrant, we are talking about a new business or new businesses that are selling the same or similar products entering the market for the first time. What is key and what has to be understood when we are talking about this is the word market. To say when we are talking about market, remember back in grade 10, the word market in bracket was also considered to be a consumer. So be aware that to say when we are saying a new product is entering the market, we are basically saying this will be available for the existing customers. So those customers will then see the product or see something new and want to try. So that can be a threat to a business that is already existing in the market. But we'll talk about that as we talk to the Porter's 5 model. Now, business strategy. What do we mean and what is our focus area here? The focus area is the strategic management process. We'll also look into the industry analysis tools. Thereafter, we will look into types of business strategies and then look into steps in strategy evaluation to say how do you evaluate your strategy. But remember here, what is key is that we focus on the strategic management process, which focuses on managing the strategy that the business already is having. So that is why we are calling it strategic management process. It is a way in which the business would manage their strategy so that their strategy continues to make profit for them. Now, as we proceed now, definition of strategy. A strategy is a long-term plan of action to achieve a goal. So that's what a strategy is. A strategy should be part and parcel of what the business wants to achieve in the long run. Hence, we say it is a long-term plan of action. Action referring to what the business will be doing in the process of achieving their long-term goal or their goal, which can be the vision. Hence, we say a strategy is a plan of action, meaning activities that the business will be engaging in or activities that the business will be doing as they try to achieve their vision or their goal, which can be to make profit, which can be to be the best in the country, which can be the best in the world. It depends with the vision and the goal of the business. So the strategy is how the business will be moving. It is how the business will be selling to customers. A strategy is how the business will be solving problems as well, because it says a strategy is a plan of action to address opportunities or to solve a business problem. So it is a plan of action, is those things that the business will be doing as they try to make money, as they try to win customers, as they try to compete with other businesses. Hence, we say it is a plan of action. So the business will plan and then implement that action. So we call that process of planning and implementing that action a strategy. Then the strategy needs, the business needs a strategy to achieve its vision and mission, because what is key is that a business is in competition. It might be in competition in the same market, but it might also be in competition in other markets. So what is key for us here before we start this lesson is that we should know that we have each and every business as it starts, it has their own key strategy that they had planned for when they submitted a business plan. Before the business started, they had a strategy. But now we look into strategic management process, which is a process of managing the current strategy. Meaning, what I'm saying is that a business will be having plan A as they start. Plan A will be considered to be strategy A, what they're going to use as something new, maybe as they're entering in a new market, or as something that is unknown. That will be their strategy A. But strategic management talks to how to manage strategy A so that it continues to be powerful. Because in the business world, strategy A may not always work because there will be changes in the market. Hence, we talked about what? The business environments being scanned, because they are being scanned due to the changes that might occur. So we have option one of what strategic management is. But remember, what is key is for you to understand that in the beginning, as the business starts, as the business starts, they have plan A. So strategic management will help the business to manage their plan A, as they started with their plan A. But let's see what strategic management process is. It says The business needs to have a clear vision, a mission statement, and a realistic objective in place. Sometimes the business would plan a vision that is not achievable. So the business would then, as they start selling the product, they will have to check if their vision is achievable, if their mission is possible, and if their vision and mission is also realistic, to say, can they achieve what is on their mission and can they achieve what is on their vision. And then another thing now, which is very, very key, is to identify weaknesses or strengths by conducting environmental scanning. Now, this is the most critical part about strategic management, because yes, they are going to check if their vision is realistic and their mission is realistic. Let's say yes, the vision and mission is realistic. Now, does it mean everything will go well? Does it mean they will not have challenges? Still, the business will have challenges. That's why it becomes very, very important for a business to engage in identifying, to say, what are the weaknesses and what are the strengths? And how will they know that? They will know that by doing what we call environmental scanning or situational analysis. So the question is, in grade 10, what were you introduced to? You were introduced to the 3 business environments, to say you have micro, market, and macro. So that's why we are saying we are doing environmental scanning, which is informed by the 3 business environments, so that the business can identify, to say, what are the strengths and weaknesses from each of the 3 environments. Hence, we say each environment will be unique. Therefore, each environment will be having a tool that is used to scan. Hence, we say now tools available for environmental scanning may include SWOT analysis. For which environment? For micro. To scan the inside, we're going to use micro, because SWOT analysis tells you about the strengths and weaknesses, which will be inside, and threats and opportunities, which will be outside. So that is the tool we use to scan the micro environment. And then when you look into Porter's 5 forces model, this is a model that is used, or this is a tool that is used to scan now. Which environment? The market. The market environment. What is a market environment? A market environment is what in your grade 8 was defined as a place where buyers and sellers meet. And I would normally say, when you go into any mall and you wait by the gate, you will see every component of market environment. You will see a truck coming to deliver at the mall. That is a supplier. You are going to see customers coming to buy. That is the consumer as well. And then you are also going to see KFC trying to compete with Chicken Licken, that is competition. So these are components of the market, and therefore the Porter's 5 model is used to scan the market environment, because it will then help the business to check if what are their strengths immediately outside of the business. If you are KFC, what are your strengths immediately outside? Because we are talking about what? Market environment. And this is an environment where the business doesn't have full control, but the business can what? Influence. Hence, we talk about market environment. Then we're also having pestle analysis. Pestle analysis now is used to scan which environment you should be knowing by now. It is used to scan the micro environment, which is totally outside. This is where the business will be checking on changes that can happen politically, as we are looking into the current times and looking into 2024. Every business is looking into the issue of elections, because should there be a change in government, it means somewhere, somehow, some policies and some laws and some acts might be changed, which can affect the nature of how businesses operated in South Africa, for example. So that is what the business will be scanning. They will scan politically what is going to happen. They will scan economically to say what change could happen which can lead to the business suffering. They will also scan socially to say, how will people now, their levels of income, have they improved or have they not improved? And then they're also going to look into technological environment, which is macro. And these are aspects that the business cannot control. But they will then have to come up with what? Check the next point. formulating alternative strategies to respond to challenges. And how will the business know to say they have challenges? They will know because they shall have engaged in what? Environmental scanning, when they used the 3 tools: SWOT analysis to scan micro inside, POTUS 5 to scan market immediately outside, and pestle analysis to scan macro, which is totally outside. So then the business, after it has collected the information from scanning in the 3 environments, the business has to do what? Formulate alternative strategies, meaning come up with alternative strategies. This takes us back to the plan A. I said plan A is the strategy that the business used when they started their business. So now, it doesn't mean strategy A or plan A doesn't work. Plan A is working, but there might be challenges from the 3 business environments. Hence, the business will have to come up with an alternative strategy. What do we mean by the term alternative? Alternative refers to what? Will then be referred to as plan B. As plan B to survive for the business. Hence, this can be integration strategy, intensive strategy, diversification, together with defensive as a last resort if intensive, diversification, and integration did not work. Then the business will then, after deciding whether to use integration, intensive, and diversification, they can then decide to develop an action plan, including tasks to be done so that they implement either of these strategies, 1, 2, 3, or 4. Then implement the selected strategy by communicating it to all stakeholders. They'll have to communicate to the shareholders, to the employees, and to the suppliers to say they are implementing a new strategy. And then they should continuously monitor the strategy in order to take corrective action. So this is to say the business will be using plan A and plan B. So think about, for example, KFC. Their main strategy or strength is their secret spice, which is their plan A. But there was a challenge from other businesses that are also engaging in selling what? Fried chicken. They made their products to be cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. So they had to implement some of the strategies which had to include intensive, which had to include integration, which had to do with what? Diversification. KFC at the beginning was only selling the chicken, but they had to diversify. That's why now they are having chicken wrappers. That's why now they are having chicken burgers, because the aim is to diversify so that they win customers who might not be interested in buying chicken. So what is that? That is their plan B. It doesn't mean they stopped using their spice. They are still using their spice, but now they are adding what? They are adding burger in their spice. They are adding chicken wraps in their spice. So that is to do what? To make sure that they diversify. Meaning that is the strategy that they used to make sure that they remain competitive and they remain with their customers, because maybe customers might have changed their taste and habits. Hence, we talk about the market environment being a critical environment, because this is an environment that holds the profitability of the business, because this is where you find customers, this is where you find suppliers, and the people who buy are customers. Therefore, if they change their consumer taste and habits, the business will have to come up with alternative products or alternative strategies, such as adding products that may be related to what is being sold or unrelated. But we'll talk about it as we get to the types of strategies. Now, we also have option 2, and now option 2 is similar to option A, but is a shorter version, not elaborated like option 1. So option 2 will say review or analyze the vision statement and mission statement. To analyze, you're analyzing because you want to check if the vision and mission is realistic. It goes back to the first option. Thereafter, conduct environmental analysis using models such as PESTEL, POTUS 5, and SWOT analysis. Thereafter, formulate a strategy which is the alternative strategy, which can be what? Defensive or integration strategy. Thereafter, remember, we specify them to say we have integration, intensive, then we have diversification and defensive. Then implement a strategy using templates such as an action plan. So you're going to choose, if you choose integration, you implement it and you use a template we call action plan, which was then introduced in your grade 11, your timelines, your Gantt charts. They're part of an action plan which will guide you on how you're going to implement your new strategy. And then control or evaluate or monitor the implemented strategy by identifying gaps or deviations in the implementation process. Then take corrective action if you realize deviations. What is a deviation? You wanted to implement this strategy, but now you see the strategy losing focus from what was planned. And that way, you will then have to, as a business, take corrective action to ensure goals or objectives are met. Now, let's get into thorough analysis and thorough understanding of what? The industry analysis tools. Remember, they are informed by the strategic management process. This is the process conducting what? Environmental analysis using the three, and the three come from the three. They will help to analyze the three business environment. So now let us look into it. SWOT analysis will help the business to scan microenvironment. What is microenvironment? It refers to the internal workings of the business. This is what happens inside the business. So the business will have to scan using SWOT analysis. And then Porter's 5 model will help the business to scan the market environment. This is an environment that is immediately outside, and it determines the profitability and wins customers for the business. So if the business is able to understand the market environment and use Porter's 5 to scan the environment, they're in a better position to win their customers. And then we have pastel elements, which are then part and parcel of scanning the macro environment. Let us start with SWOT analysis. In this case, the business will be doing environmental scanning, and the environmental scanning involves the business asking the following question when they use SWOT analysis. To check their strengths, the business will have to ask questions such as, what advantages does the organization have? To say, what are their strengths? What advantage is the organization having? Sometimes the advantage might be the supplier, to say they are able to afford their supply, or they are having their own supply. And then what unique or low cost resources can you draw upon that others can't, which is now can be considered to be the strength, to say the business has the resources that they can have, and they can have very cheap, that other businesses cannot have. So that becomes the strength of the business. And then another question and the business would have to ask themselves is, do they have skilled employees? If they have skilled employees, that can also be considered to be the strength of the business. Then weaknesses. The business will have to check the following or ask the following questions to say, are they having high cost infrastructure? Are they paying so much money on infrastructure to keep it operating, to keep the equipment operating? So if that is the cost, then it becomes a weakness. Then when we look into another one, are they having or experiencing high employee turnover? High employee turnover is when workers keep on coming into the business and leaving without staying for a very long time. That is a weakness, because it means the business will keep on training new employees, and as they train, in the process of training, employees will make mistakes, and it means they're going to hire new employees with lack of experience. And then we also have weak brand portfolio. Weak brand portfolio can be a weakness as well, because when a business is having a weak brand portfolio, customers might be reluctant to trust that brand, and because of the lack of trust, that can be considered to be a weakness. But questions to be asked around opportunities now, and you should understand that your strengths and weaknesses, they are definitely inside. So these will be questions that the business will be posing inside the business. Then opportunities and threat. The business will then look into market growth for the business product, to check whether is the product being used in other areas. If the product is being used in other areas, or in other countries, or in other provinces, that is an opportunity. And then another one is new technology that will enhance the quality of the service or products. The business will check for new technology that can help maybe to make the process of making the product very fast. That can be an opportunity. And then disposable income levels will increase. In a case whereby now maybe the South African government decides to reduce tax, that can mean now South Africans will be having more money to spend. So that can be an opportunity for the business because they'll be making more money since consumers will be having more and more money. And you can see these are external factors. It means they are not inside the business. Hence, I said strengths and weaknesses will be aspects that can pose a challenge inside. When we say high cost infrastructure, it is the cost of the business inside. It is the cost of equipment inside that the business is using. But when we look into employees, employees are inside. So if they are skilled, it means it's a strength because it's an advantage towards the business. And then another one is that the business will ask, what good opportunities can you spot? Meaning, if the business realizes that, okay, the business they are selling, the product they are selling, for instance, is only in out there, and then there's people who order from other provinces using online platforms, then that can be considered to be an opportunity to say, let's start operating in other provinces. Let's establish physical appearance in other provinces so that we win customers. But what can be threats? Threats could be corporate tax may increase. As tax increases, it becomes expensive for the business. And then another one, rising pay levels. Employees might require or might need more and more money. And then intense competition. There might be competition from other businesses that are selling the similar product as of the business. And then increasing fuel price can also make transporting products from one place to another to be very expensive. And then aging population may mean the customers that were loyal are growing up, and as they grow up, the business might lose their customers and they might have to impress or try to attract new groups of customers. Then we go to Porters. And remember, SWOT analysis, it is used to scan which environment? Micro. Then Porters 5 model. We have five Porters forces. And these forces are the power of the supplier, the power of the buyer. When you get into a mall, you wait. Obviously, you can't wait the whole day, but definitely you're going to see a truck coming to supply. You're going to see a consumer trying to buy. When you get into the mall, you're going to see retail shops competing, selling similar products. You're going to see banks offering the same service, trying to compete. You're going to see restaurants selling similar products, trying to compete. So you're also having the power of the competitor. Then you get into ShopRite or Pick n Pay, you're going to see threat of substitution. In the same aisle, you're going to see coffee and tea. That is competition. But we don't consider it to be competition. We consider it to be threat of substitution because coffee can be substituted with tea. Then we also have what? New entrants. You're going to see new businesses establishing physical presence in the market, trying to sell and promote their new product that is unknown. That is the threat of new entrants. So all those are aspects that are looked into when scanning the market environment. And you will be scanning the market environment using what? Using what? The Porters 5 model. Now, the power of the supplier. This is what the business will have to check. This is the question that they should be asking themselves as they scan this environment and as they scan this component of the Porters 5 force. The first question is to assess. What is to assess? Is to check. They have to check the power of the suppliers in influencing prices. They need to check that to say, can suppliers influence prices? And then again, the understanding should be the more powerful the supplier, the less control the business has over them. So in a case whereby the supplier that is offering the product or that is supplying the business is powerful. It means it makes it difficult for the business to have control over such a supplier, because it means such a supplier cannot depend on only one business. So it means the control then is limited, and it can challenge and it can pose a challenge to a business. So the business will have to record such to say we are having this challenge when it comes to the supplier. The supplier is having more power because it's a powerful supplier offering a quality product or quality raw material. Therefore, the supplier can increase prices anytime because we have less control over such a supplier. Then we look into what? The power of buyers. The business again assesses how easy it is for the buyers or customers to drive down prices. The business will check how easy it is for buyers or customers to drive prices down. So the business checks that to say, can the buyer drive down the price? And how will the buyer do that? If the buyer doesn't come to buy, it means the business will have to come up with strategies to attract the buyer, which might mean reducing the price. Then, buyers buying in bulk can bargain for prices in their favor. That is a strategy that the buyer can use to drive down the price by buying in bulk. So such challenges will have to be noted by the business so that they can come up with alternative strategies. And then the business will also have to deal with this challenge from this component of the Potters 5 by conducting what? Market research to gather more information about its buyers, to check whether buyers are having power or not. Now, power of competitors. These are the questions that will help the business to determine whether is the business having power or is the competitor having power. Competition, remember, is when two businesses are selling a similar product to similar customers, or targeting similar customers, or wanting to win similar customers. So the power of competitor or competitive rivalry will be determined by this. If competitors have a unique product or service, they will have greater power over the business. So the business should be realistic at this moment. Because remember, this is market. This is where buyers and sellers meet. So if the business is not being realistic, they're going to have challenges. Hence, we say the aim is to scan so that the business can identify the challenges. So they will scan and say, yes, we're having competitors, and these competitors have a unique product. Therefore, they have greater power because they have unique product. And this unique product might be because of quality raw material, might be because of a unique raw material, a unique spice that the business cannot get if it's a restaurant. A business with many competitors in the same market has very little power in their market. So in case we are talking about another issue, is to say a business with very what? A business with many competitors will have in the same market will have very little power, because consumers will always have an alternative. So they have to check how many businesses are we competing with as a business, so that they have an understanding of who they're competing with and determine whether they have power or not. Then threat of substitute or substitution. You're having tea there and coffee. Now, if a business's product can be easily substituted, it weakens the power of the business in the market. So this is to say, the business will have to check to say, can customers switch to another product which does the similar responsibility or which does the similar activity like our product? In that case, if customers can do that, then it's a challenge, because the aim, remember, of this Potters 5 force is to identify the challenges from each and every environment. And in this case, we are talking about market environment. And then the business will have to establish whether the seller of this substitute product is, because sometimes a substitute product can make a product to be very, very cheap. So the business will have to establish whether is the seller of substitute products having improved their product. Have they improved their product, or are they selling lower quality goods at a lower price? So they need to establish that. Then threat or barriers of new entrants to the market. The understanding is that we're talking about a new business trying to sell what the business is already selling. So the business will have to ask the following questions to say how easy it is for another business to start selling what the business is already selling. So you're the owner here. You need to empathize and think of yourself as a business owner and say, okay, I'm selling in this market. Is it easy for someone else to start selling what I'm selling tomorrow? If it's easy, then I'm in trouble because it means I can lose customers. Someone else might come with something unique at a cheaper price, looking attractive. So it is a threat. So the threat or barrier of new entrants. So here the business will have to analyze and make sure that it makes it difficult for someone else to start operating or selling the similar product that they are selling. So if the barriers to enter the market are low, meaning there's nothing stopping another business from starting to sell what the business is selling in that particular market, then it is easy for new businesses to enter the market because barriers that stop other businesses, they are not there. They are low. Basically, we are saying in this market, there is no gate. You just come in. So hence we say the barriers to enter the market to start selling this product is very low. Then, if there is few suppliers of a product or service but many buyers, it may be easy to enter the market because the suppliers will want to also start selling the product because they see that other businesses are making profit. And then if the business is highly profitable, it will attract potential customers or competitors. If a business is highly profitable, in this case, it will attract potential competitors that want to benefit from the high profits that are available from such a market. Then the pestle factor to scan which environment, the macro environment. Now here we look into a factor, look into the challenge, and also give a recommendation. So in this regard, political is the first one, which is the P. The P stands for political in pestle. So challenges here is that some government policies may affect businesses. That's one. And then a strategy to deal with those policies, that the business has to research recent government policies so that they are able to adapt and solve the challenge that may mean the business is not complying with a particular policy. And then when you look into trading agreements and preventing businesses from importing some medicines or products, what is key here is that we should know the business will have to know which info or which government or which country is trading with South Africa, so that as a recommendation to deal with trading agreements, because in case whereby a business is trading with another country that is not in a good trading agreement with South Africa, then it will make importing the goods or medicine to be very, very expensive, which might prevent the business from even selling to consumers from other businesses or getting raw material from other countries. But the strategy is to trade only with countries that have a favorable trade agreement with the government, meaning the South African government. For example, here a favorable one can be BRICS countries. BRICS countries will always create a favorable trading agreement because they are in the same trying to achieve the same economic system together. So when we are looking into economy, what may be the challenge here? Loans may be expensive due to high interest rates. So the recommendation is that the business borrows money from financial institutions when interest rates are favorable. And then fluctuations in the foreign exchange currency may restrict imports. So the business then will have to consider exchange rates when they are trading with other countries. So they should consider to trade with countries that will be having favorable exchange rates, meaning that would allow the business to be able to sell and be flexible in the process of selling and make profit. Then challenges from social. Remember, we are still talking about scanning macro. What could be the challenges here? The challenges could be when you are looking into the social factor to say customers may not be able to afford products due to high unemployment rate. So the business will have to sell substitute or generic products at a lower price to deal with the idea that customers do not afford. Then high crime rate may affect the trading hours of businesses, resulting in decrease in profits. So the business in that case, because this is a social factor from a socio-economic perspective, because we're talking about high crime rate, which will affect the trading hours. So the business will have to close up very early because of what high crime rate. So they need to work together with the community police forum and improve the security in the business to deal with the social challenge that is around high crime. But technology now is a challenge. Businesses may not be aware of the latest technology, and how do they solve that? Is simple. The business will have to continuously research on the latest available technology or equipment in the market. And then when you look into another challenge, businesses may not be able to afford new technology. Therefore, they need to select suitable suppliers for the new equipment at a reasonable price. Then, legal challenges and their recommendation. Now, legal challenges may be certain acts may have a direct impact on the business, such as Consumer Protection and your Basic Conditions of Employment Act, because it talks about the conditions and the hours and the leave that employees are entitled to, therefore having a direct influence. But when you look into consumer protection, it talks about making sure that consumer rights are protected in the process of consumers buying inside a business. So it does have a direct impact into how the business will be operated. So the recommendation is the business will have to comply with all relevant legislations that may impact on the business. And then when you look into legal, the challenges again can be legal requirements for operating certain types of businesses might be time consuming, meaning the process of registering might be time consuming. So the business will have to comply with legal requirements for operating businesses, for example, by knowing which license is needed and knowing where to register the trademark and patents for their business. And then challenge around the environment is to say now chemicals or ingredients in business product may be harmful to consumers. Therefore, the business can deal with such or a recommendation to deal with the issue of chemicals can be chemicals should be clearly indicated on the packages to inform customers about the possible side effect. And then measures to dispose business waste may be expensive. So the business has to ensure that they implement cost-effective measures to dispose medical waste and try to make sure that they do not affect the environment. And remember, this is the challenges from what? The macro environment, and the business will be using personal factors to come up with their challenges or identify these challenges and then come up with the recommendations on how to deal with this. Then we look into types of business strategies. Now that we have scanned the environment using the three tools or industry analysis tools, the business can then come up with what? The alternative strategies. And these are your alternative strategies: integration, intensive, together with diversification and defensive. Remember, there are many alternatives, but for grade 12, we only focus on these four. And this is what I call my DD, because my DD will definitely solve your problems. These are the key and these are the best alternative strategies to implement for a business. We start with the first one, which is integration. Integration, we need to understand that this is a strategy that talks about coming together, merging, alliances, or takeovers. So some businesses might use the alternative strategy, which is integration. And integration will be talking to taking other businesses, buying other businesses, and it might also mean buying businesses not in the same sector so that they reduce the cost of maybe raw materials, so that they reduce the cost of distribution as well. So the business will have to then implement the three integration strategies. Now, what is key here is for you to understand primary, secondary, and the tertiary sector. You should be understanding that primary outlines and is clear to say products are extracted from nature. Raw material or resources are extracted from nature here. They are taken from nature, and it means they are not usable. Then secondary is where the process would take place. of now converting the natural resources into finished goods and services. And then tertiary would then be considered to be where the final consumer can buy and get the service for these final products now. So it means the supply chain moves this way. The product will be extracted from nature. That is the first process. This is where the product is extracted, and it moves to number 2, where the process takes place of converting into final products. And then step 3 would be the final product being sold to the customer. So it means if a business moves from 1 to 3, it means the process starts here and it ends in the tertiary sector. Now, let us talk about forward vertical integration. This is when a business will be taking over, but they're saying the business will be taking over a business that is forward in their supply chain. In this case, primary sector. If a primary sector takes over a secondary sector, we are considering this to be forward because they are moving from their nature, which is 1, and going to 2 to take over a business they supply. They supply, primary sector businesses supply secondary sector businesses. So forward vertical integration, this is when the business combines with or takes over its distributors. They take over their distributor. So primary sector businesses would distribute the product that they extracted to the secondary sector. Then it involves expansion of business activities to gain control over the distribution of the products or services. So the aim is for the business to be in control of how their raw material will then be converted and be sold to the final consumer. So most of the time this would happen in the secondary sector. The secondary sector businesses, because they make products, they will then take over some of the tertiary sector businesses so that they remain in control. For instance, Nike is operating in this sector because Nike is what now producing clothes and also producing sportswear. So they will then take over any tertiary sector business that is distributing the final product to the consumer. Then backward vertical integration, the business combines with or takes over its supplier. So in this case, we are having Nike and we are also having what? Sportscene here. So Sportscene is the distributor in South Africa. So Nike will take over what? If Nike takes over Sportscene, we consider this to be what? Forward, because Nike is moving forward and closer to the end, which is selling to the customer straight. But when Sportscene now takes over Nike, we consider that to be backward because Sportscene is moving backward. They are taking over their supplier. And who's their supplier? Nike. Because Sportscene doesn't make sneakers, but Nike makes the sneakers and supplies to Sportscene. So the aim is to decrease the business's dependency on the supply. So Sportscene doesn't want to depend on Nike, but Sportscene wants to be in control of making and also selling to the final consumer. Then horizontal integration. A business takes control over other businesses in the same industry which produce the same or sell the same goods or service. So now the aim is to reduce the threat of competition by taking over your competitor. In this regard, Sportscene will take over shelf life. Sportscene will take over what? Let us talk about restaurants. KFC will take over this time Chicken Licken, or Chicken Licken will take over KFC. McDonald's takes over Burger King. That is considered to be what now? Horizontal. The business takes control of other businesses in the same industry which produce or sell the same goods. McDonald's sells a burger, and we know also that Burger King sells a burger. So if Burger King decides to take over McDonald's, we consider that to be what? Horizontal. And this is because they are taking over the business in the same industry. Backward, McDonald's decides to take over the supplier of patty or the supplier of any roll or whatever raw material they use, then that is considered to be what now? That is considered to be backward because they are moving backward towards their production. Then, KFC in this case. If a farm takes over KFC, what do we call this? Where's the farm? farm is in the primary sector. Is the farm selling to the final customer? No. Therefore, if a farm takes over KFC, then we consider this to be what? This is considered to be forward vertical. Then, if KFC takes over, or if KFC now takes over the farm, we consider this to be backward. This is backward. But if KFC takes over Chicken Licken, this is horizontal. Or Chicken Licken takes over KFC, this is horizontal. Now, intensive strategy. The first one, with intensive, the focus is to increase the number of customers. Therefore, the business will engage in what? These three types of intensive strategy, because the aim is to increase the number of what? Customers. Hence, we see sometimes big sale, Black Friday, all those are part of what? Intensive strategy. So the first one is market penetration. What is market penetration? To penetrate is to come in. To the market. What is a market? Market is your consumers. So market penetration therefore refers to what? New products penetrate an existing market at a lower price. So the only way for the market or the business to penetrate with their new product, because consumers don't trust this product, sell it at a lower price so that they can have some money to afford to try it. So as they try it, you are. Immediately a consumer says, let me try it. You are penetrating the market because you are giving them experience of your product. Until it is well known to the customers, then the price increases. After that, then we look into what? Market development. It is a growth strategy where businesses aim to sell, in this case, sell existing products in a new market. So here the product is there, it is existing, it is sold in Gauteng. But the business decides to say, now let us move to Mpumalanga, because customers in Mpumalanga do not know about the product. They only know the product is only known where the product is only known in Gauteng. Therefore, this is considered to be a growth strategy where an existing product, it is only existing in one area and known by customers in that particular area. So if you take that product that is only known in Gauteng and you take it to customers in Mpumalanga do not know the product. Therefore, when they see the product, they see a new product. Hence, we say selling an existing product in a new market, because the new market refers to new customers. They see a new product in the existing market in the existing product that existed in another area. So you don't change anything. You just take the product and expose it to new groups of customers. Then, product development. It is a growth strategy where businesses aim to produce new products into an existing market and modifies an existing product. So a product development, a growth strategy, but focused on what? The aim is to introduce new products into an existing market. So the customers are the same, and this is what is done by the cell phone industry. You would see them producing a new product, a new product, a new product for the same customer. No one else but the same customer. So that is product development over there. Then let us look into differences between market and product development. Market development is a growth strategy where the business aims to sell its existing or current product in a new market, meaning to new what? To new customers. But product development is a growth strategy where a business aims to introduce a new product into existing or current what? Customers. So the aim or the difference, the key difference here is that you are introducing a new product, but here you are selling the current product to new customers or new markets. But here you're introducing a new product in the existing market. Then the business implements the ideas of expanding or selling the products into other geographical areas. So as I said, the example, moving from selling to customers in Gauteng, they know the product, and you decide to sell it in another province, maybe what? Mpumalanga. Depending on how big is the product. Then That is your market development. But product, the business improves or enhances the product in line by adding different types of related products or services. So the product improves or is enhanced. The product will enhance the product in line by adding different types of related products so that then they add new features and make sure that they continuously satisfy the customer. Then intensive strategy is a big sale. And remember here, I made an example. You move from selling in Gauteng to Mpumalanga, or if a product is known in Limpopo, you take it to what? Western Cape. That is market development over there. They will see a new product. Consumers from the Western Cape will see a new product in that regard. Then product development, we can see this was the phone before and now it is developed to this, so that consumers are forever happy with the new changes. So this is what we call product development. Other businesses might be selling this, but the business would then decide to add this. This is product development, selling a new product in an existing market. Then advantages is it increases the sale or income or profitability of the business because you're having new customers from different areas now. Regular sales to existing customers may increase. Why? Because existing customers, when they see a new product, they'll want to try it out and then gain customer loyalty through effective promotional campaigns. This will talk to market penetration to say as you lower that price, customers will want to try the product, which will increase the sales and loyalty. Improved service delivery, which may positively impact on increasing sale because it means the business keeps on trying to make something new and try to attract new groups of customers. And then it eliminates competitors and dominates the market price because they are having different products and they are also making sure that they attract a new group of customers using the same product in another area or geographical area. And then a decrease in price could influence customers to buy more. This is market penetration, lowering the price so that customers can try the product until they know what the product is. And then businesses can have more control over prices of their products or services. Then diversification. What is diversification? It looks into what? Having different products in the market so that customers can forever try something new, something different. So concentric diversification, as you can see there, you'd find one brand having a laptop, a cell phone, and also having what? A tablet. So that is diversification because there might be a consumer that would love the laptop and there might be another consumer that would be interested in the tablet and another one might want the cell phone device. So now concentric diversification, the business will be adding a new product or service that is related to the existing products and which will appeal to new groups of what? Customers. So what is key is that the business is adding a new product or service that is related. It is related to the existing one, meaning it does a function similar to the existing one, or it creates some sort of satisfaction similar to the existing one, but will be appealing to new groups of customers. So this would be applied mostly by restaurants because they'll be trying to be appealing to new groups of customers by adding something still to be eaten. So it has to be eaten because it's in a restaurant. So adding something new in a menu, which will then attract new groups of customers. Then horizontal diversification. The business here adds new products or services that are unrelated or different to the existing product, but which will be appealing to existing or current what? Customers. So here the aim is to add something unrelated, but which will be appealing to the existing what? Customers. Then another one is conglomerate diversification. Here we look into what? The business adds a new product or service that is unrelated as well, but to the existing product, but which will be appealing to new groups of what? Customers. So this one will be appealing to existing, but this one will be appealing to new groups of customers. So that is your conglomerate. So what is key here is that concentric is related, but it's going to be appealing to new groups of customers. But horizontal is unrelated and different, and conglomerate is unrelated and different. But the difference is horizontal is appealing or is attracting new existing customers, but conglomerate will attract new groups of customers. So the advantages of having such is that you will always have different customers. Someone will come in and just say, we want to buy the cell phone. We don't want the laptop, we don't want the tablet, but we want the cell phone. So the advantage is it increases sales and business growth because the business will have diverse customers who want different things or different services from the business. And then it improves the business brand and image because the business will be all over. There will be someone who's using the cell phone while the others are using the fridge, while others are using the TV. Then it reduces the risk of relying only on one product. As I said, when you look into restaurants today, you know that a restaurant can give you a meal, can offer you a takeaway. So those are different services. And then you can sit in and you can also take your takeaway there. And we know as well, when you look into the menus of the current restaurants, you know that you can have a burger, you can have a wrapper, you can have your ice cream. So it depends with you. So it allows the business not only to rely on one product. Even if a customer cannot afford, they can try to buy maybe ice cream for 30 rand instead of buying a meal for 100 rand. It means they're still generating income. So that is good for the business. And then more products can be sold to existing customers and adding more new markets, which will then be established. As you can see, some restaurants used to focus only on offering lunch and dinner, but now they are also offering what? Breakfast meals, so that they can win customers who want to buy in the morning. So the model is diversification on its own because they are trying to add new products that are unrelated to what used to be their core, but will be attracting or appealing to existing customers or new groups of customers. And then another one is that the business gains more technological capabilities through product modification, because as the business, as I made an example to say KFC used to only sell the chicken, but now KFC is selling what? The burger. Now KFC is selling what? A wrapper. Now KFC is having milkshakes. So all those are now meaning to, they mean now the technological capabilities will increase, and the technology inside that restaurant now has improved because they are now having a machine for ice cream, a machine for milkshakes, a machine now for making a burger, a machine for also making what? For making a wrapper, for instance. So technological capabilities will improve through product modification because you are having different products. And then diversification into number of industries or products line can help create balance during economic what? Fluctuations. As I said, if people do not afford, they can try ice cream, so the business will still be making money. Then business to produce more output using less input as one factory, which may be used to what now manufacture more products. So that is the advantage as well. But the last resort is the defensive strategy. This is the last resort because if integration didn't work, intensive didn't work, and diversification didn't work, then the business should resort to defensive strategies. The first one is disinvestment or divestiture. What do we mean by that? The business will sell some assets or divisions that are no longer profitable and that are no longer productive in order to try to operate. So that is divestiture. So in a case whereby they have failed with all the other strategies, they try to operate. So the aim is to try to survive. That's why they are selling some assets or divisions that are no longer profitable. Then retrenchment. Retrenchment now focuses on what? Terminating the employment contracts of employees for operational reasons, because the business is failing and they see that they are having lack of income. They can try to reduce some of their employees or terminate some of their employees' contracts with the aim to what now afford and try to implement other strategies using what they used to pay to them. So this will be considered to be what now? This is a retrenchment to try to survive. But if divestiture doesn't work and retrenchment doesn't work, then the business will apply what? Liquidation. What is liquidation? All assets are sold to pay creditors due to lack of capital or cash flow. So here they are selling everything, and it also says selling the entire business in order to pay off all liabilities and close down the business because all has failed. So they try to defend what the shareholders have invested in a business by closing, selling everything, and giving shareholders or investors their money. And then there is the end of your strategy there, which is diverse defensive strategies. Now, Steps in strategy evaluation. This is after the business has implemented some of the strategies. They will then have to evaluate, because we just spoke about strategies. We spoke about 4, and let's not focus on the last one, which is defensive, but let us look into the first 3 to say, how will the business evaluate? The first one is that the business will have to examine the underlying basis of the business strategy. To say, when we are doing integration, it means we want to take over. That is the underlying basis. When we are doing intensive, we want to increase sales. When we are doing diversification, we want to add a new product so that we don't rely on only one product. That is the underlying basis of our strategy. We get that, then we write it down to say the underlying basis of the strategy we are implementing is to increase the number of products so that we don't rely on only one product. Then we look forward and backward into the implementation process to say, let us see how we do this. And when we were implementing, what were the mistakes and what were the challenges? Looking forward and backward. And then compare expected results in order to determine the reasons for deviations and analyze these reasons. So you check to say, what are the expected results and what is the business trying to achieve? Then the business then takes corrective action so that deviations may be corrected, and they set specific dates for control and follow-ups. Thereafter, draw up a table of advantages to say, since we implemented the strategy, we had 10 customers, but after we are having 100 customers. So that is the advantage. It means it's working. But what are the disadvantages? Our employees now are complaining because they think this is a lot of work. So let us check how we can solve those disadvantages. Then we decide on the desired outcome and then consider the impact of the strategic implementation in the external or in the internal and external environment of the business. And then this is how the business will then be evaluating. So they're basically checking whether the strategy is working well or not, whether the strategy is working according to the plan. If there are deviations, they are fixing the deviations, taking them and setting specific days for control and follow up so that those deviations can be corrected. So that is your steps in strategy evaluation. Remember, we started by doing strategic management, which was involving identifying what? The vision, checking if the vision and mission is realistic, then doing what? Environmental analysis, or conducting what? Your environmental scanning to check your strengths and weaknesses. Thereafter, using the 3 tools to scan these 3 environments: micro, market, and macro. Micro we scan using SWOT analysis. Market we scan using what? Porter's 5. And the third one, which is pestle, we scan using what now? The macro environment. So that is that. Then after that, you then decide based on their challenges to say, which alternative strategy do you choose? Integration? Do you choose intensive diversification? Or you then resort to defensive if they don't work? Then you do evaluation to check if strategies are working well and check if they are making any difference and what are the advantages and disadvantages of the different strategy that is being implemented by the business. Then let us now look into a typical exam question. Then here you are expected to identify the 3 pestle factors that pose a challenge and motivate the answer by quoting from the scenario, and you use the table below as a guide to answer this question. So let's start by answering this one for you so that you are in a better position to answer the next one by yourself. So we have Mehli Trading Enterprise, MTT, or Mehli Trading Enterprise is experiencing a decline in the demand for their products due to high rates of unemployment caused by COVID-19 regulations. Now, a trading agreement between South Africa and China may prevent Mehli Trading Enterprise from importing some of their products. So some of Mehli Trading Enterprise employees are not skilled to operate new equipment. Now, identify the 3 pestle elements. So what is key here is that they are being affected here. Demand is going down due to what? High rate of unemployment that is taking place. There's a high rate of unemployment that is taking place here caused by COVID-19 regulations. So we should know that this is a social factor because it's affecting the people, because social has to do with everything that affects the people. And then a trading agreement between South Africa and China may prevent now, this talks to what now? To the two governments, South Africa and China. Hence, it has to do with what? It has to do with the political factor there. And then some of the heat trading enterprise employees are not skilled to operate new equipment. So this new equipment definitely has to do with what? Technological advances. So let us look into the solution. Use this table as a guide. Now, what is the solution there? The solution is very clear. I already outlined for you. Social, because of unemployment, then political, because of South Africa and China preventing importing taking place. So this is a political matter. And then technological, because some employees cannot use new equipment due to the latest technology. So this is a total out of 9. Then another typical exam question says identify Potter's 5 forces from the statements below. I think we can do this one together as well so that you get to analyze and be in a position to score your marks. Now, identify the Potter's 5 forces applicable from the statements below. We have KDF, which has many competitors, which leads to less profit. So your keyword there is what? Competitors. And then Lion Wheels is the only supplier in Tembisa, hence they charge higher prices. So it means they don't, other businesses in Tembisa or cannot charge cheaper prices because of what now? There's only one supplier who's having great control and who's been having more power. Hence we call the supplier to be the challenge. And then now we check into to read the scenario below and answer questions that follow. So the answer here should be the power of competitor. And the answer here should be Lion Wheels is the only supplier in Tembisa. Therefore, this is the power of supplier. Then Thokoza Electronics trades or sells electronic devices in Thokoza, and the financial manager of TE applied for a loan at Capri Bank in order to expand the business. And then TE was approved by the bank, but the financial manager declined the offer due to high interest rate. Identify personal factors. So it's clear. It's clear they applied for a loan, but they're saying now the bank approved, but the financial manager decided to decline the offer due to high interest rate. So identify and motivate the answer by quoting from the scenario. Now, 2.2 strategies to deal with the pestle element identified over there. So I said the solution here would be the competitor because of what? Many competitors, meaning the profit will go down as the competition is tight. Lion will becoming the only supply, power of the supply over there. Then, when you look into Thokoza Electronic will consider what? Economic. Why? Because of high interest rate. But remember, when you quote in full. Quote in full. Because yes, this sentence talks about what? A loan. Yes, but it doesn't pose any challenge. The only time it becomes a challenge is when there's high interest rate. When there's high interest rate, then we know that there's an economic challenge there. Then a question demands of you to what now? Recommend strategies. The business should borrow money from financial institution when interest rate is favorable, and the business should also consider exchange rates when trading with other countries for 4 marks. Then I will allow you to answer this one. Let me check. I'll allow you to answer this one, or let's talk about it because this talks to now the types of integration strategies. We are identifying types of integration strategies that Susan manufacturer applied in each statement below. Now, Susan, the manufacturer, took over Andries' furniture to gain control over the direct distribution of their product. Which integration strategy is that one? Then Susan decided to merge with John Timbers to reduce dependency on the provider. Then they merge with Term B manufacturer in order to reduce the threat of substitute products. Now, how do you analyze this? The first thing is to understand that we're looking for integration strategies. So we'll only choose three, and these are three options. So you need to identify three types of integration strategy, which is applicable to each statement below. Susan manufacturer took over Andres furniture. So Susan is a manufacturer, meaning Susan is in the secondary sector. But Andres furniture is in tertiary sector. So who is moving forward? A manufacturing business here is moving forward towards a tertiary sector so that they can gain control of the direct distribution. So this is forward integration. But Susan deciding to merge with John Timber. John Timber, what is timber? Timber is raw material to make furniture. So therefore, this will then be considered to be backward vertical integration. Remember, it doesn't mean taking over, but it can mean a merge, coming together so that you share resources. The aim is to reduce dependency on the provider. So the examiner was smart here, didn't say to reduce dependency on the supplier, but on the provider, because John Timber is the provider. So this would then be considered to be backward. But when you look into the last one, they merge with Term B manufacturer in order to reduce the threat of substitute products. So Term B manufacturer and Susan manufacturer, you need to look into the name. The name will tell you where is the business operating. Is it operating in the primary or secondary or tertiary? So because Susan is operating in the secondary, and Term B is a manufacturer as well. So we consider this to be what? A secondary sector business merging with another secondary sector business, making it to be horizontal integration. So this one is backward vertical. Remember that this is backward vertical, and remember that when Susan took over a tertiary sector business, she's in the what? She's in the secondary and taking over a tertiary sector. So this one is considered to be what? This is considered to be forward. Remember not to forget forward vertical integration. So what is the solution then? The solution is forward because of the tips I gave you, and another one is backward, and another one is your horizontal, and that's how you get your 6 months. And then another solution describing three types of intensive strategies: market penetration, new products penetrate the existing market at a lower price until they are well known to the customers, and then the price will increase. Then market development. 2 marks, it is a growth strategy where businesses aim to sell their existing product in a new market. Then product development, it is a growth strategy where businesses aim to introduce new products into the existing market to modify the existing product. Then summary on business strategies. We looked into the strategic management process. We also looked into industry analysis tools and types of business strategies together with steps in strategy evaluation. Thereafter, we looked into industry analysis tools, SWOT to be scanning micro, and we looked into Porter's 5 to be scanning market, and we also looked into Pestel elements to be scanning macro, and looked into how the business can scan. And then summary on the types of strategies again as we proceed. We looked into 4 types of business strategies, and these I consider to be alternative strategies from the strategic management process. So this is your integration, intensive, diversification together with defensive. So this is your DED. Remember that so that you get to pass. And then the last part is the evaluation. We did the strategy evaluation, which was focused on checking whether the strategy is successful or not. So with that being said, thank you for watching this lesson. I had to go through with you in each and every assessment because I wanted you to understand what would be expected of you. But when we do revision, maybe when you're about to write the final exam, that is where then I'll be allowing you to engage in trying to get answers by yourself. So thank you for watching. Hoping I made a difference. We had a wonderful time and hoping you got the best results. So thank you for watching. Keep well. Goodbye.